Let's have a look at one of the more advanced features of Gametracers, which are schematics. Those are basically your programming aspect of Gametracer, and you can use them if you'd like. You don't have to, of course. You can make very advanced and complicated logic parts with it. But I'm going to show you a very simple example of how to use them. I already pre-created a little area here. I added my spawn and my endpoint. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a door to this little area. So it's basically locked and you can't just go to the endpoint, which is inside this little cave. So another thing we're going to add is a button. So I'm going to add the button here. There we go. So now let's check out how that looks when I press play. I can of course stand on the button, you see it interacts with it, but nothing happens right now. And if I try to go over here, you'll see that the door is locked and I can't get to the endpoint. So let's just click on edit and go back to edit mode. So now let's add some logic between the door and the button we added earlier. For this I'm going to switch to the schematics tab here. You'll see that the door right now is closed. So basically what we want to do, we want to change the closed status to the open status. And we can do that with using a switch. So you just drag this out into the scene wherever you like. It doesn't matter, a little bit out of the, so it doesn't cover anything that you'd like to look at. So a little bit out of the scene, maybe up here. And then you can connect those by simply dragging the line out and connect it to the door. So this one obviously has to be between the button and the door. Then we drag this one from the button to the switch to connect it. So basically the button has now input into the switch and the switch after that puts an input into the door. So let's see what happens if we try our game again. Let's see. There we go. Closed. Open. Close. Open. It's as simple as that. So now that we have our door and our button in place, let's try something else. I'm just going to drag out this little trap here, which is basically a flamethrower, and put it in front of the button. So you basically have to pass this first to actually get to the button. You'll see that the preview shows that the fire is just constantly burning right now. In this case, you couldn't really get past the fire. So what we can do now, we can switch to the schematics part again and use a pattern or a so-called sequencer. I'm just going to drag that out here as well, get it a little bit out of the main area. Here we go. And then connect this to the little connector down here of my flamethrower. So you'll notice the little settings icon here on the pattern or the sequencer. If you click that, you can actually define what the pattern of the fire should look like. You see here the blue dot basically means there's going to be fire. Here there's no fire, fire, twice no fire, and so on. So this is basically the pattern that the fire is going to do. You even see it here in the preview. You can add additional patterns up to 13, or you can remove some as well if you'd like. So you can change this. For example, you can say, okay, the fire is on, and then it's going to be off for 3 ticks, and it's going to be it's going to be on for 2, off for 1, and then on for 3 ticks. You can also define how long an actual tick is. So if I go up to like 2 seconds here, it means at the first when it starts, the fire will be on for 2 seconds, it will be off for 6 seconds, and then on for 4 seconds again, and so on. So this is basically how you can define what kind of pattern the fire or the flamethrower should be shooting fire at. I'm just going to close this, and we're going to try. So you'll see that there's a pause now, and then the fire is going to come again. It's going to be a quick pause and the fire. So we're just going to wait until there's a longer pause again and then jump over. Here we go. Open the door and get to the goal.